Most travelers come to Mexico for Cancun's beaches and all-inclusive resorts. But beyond the turquoise water, there are mountain cities shaped by indigenous tradition, canyons carved deeper than expected, deserts that meet the sea without warning, and colonial towns where time feels slower. And most visitors never go that far. Mexico isn't one experience. It's layers. What people think Mexico is. When people picture Mexico, they see beach resorts, pyramids, tacos, and nightlife. And that version exists. It's real, it's accessible. It's exactly what millions of travelers seek each year. But Mexico stretches from the US border to Central America. Over 760,000 square miles of diverse terrain. The climate changes, the architecture changes, the food changes. In the north, temperatures swing dramatically between day and night. In the south, rainforests stay humid year-round. Along the coasts, trade winds shape daily rhythms. Once you leave the resort corridor, the country feels entirely different. The sounds change, the pace shifts. The faces you see are local, not imported for tourism. And suddenly, Mexico stops being a backdrop and becomes a living, breathing place with its own logic and memory. Cancun and the Yucatan, the anchor. Cancun sits along one of the clearest coastlines in the Caribbean. The water here is famous for a reason. Visibility extends dozens of feet below the surface. Coral reefs host schools of fish that move in perfect sync. The Yucatan Peninsula is flat, limestone-based, which is why cenotes exist. Freshwater sinkholes hidden underground. In Valladolid, an hour inland, life moves at a different speed. Families gather in the central plaza at dusk. Street vendors sell elote and fresh fruit from wooden carts. The churches are older, the stone darker, the air warmer without the ocean breeze. The contrast begins immediately. You don't have to go far to feel it. Oaxaca, culture and depth. In southern Mexico, Oaxaca feels grounded in tradition. This is a state where culture isn't preserved for tourists. It's simply lived. Indigenous languages are still widely spoken. Zapotec, Mixtec. You hear them in markets, in homes, in everyday exchanges. Markets are layered with textiles, spices, and handmade crafts. Women sit behind piles of dried chilies, ancho, pasilla, guajillo, each variety used for different dishes. Woven baskets are stacked beside embroidered blouses that take weeks to complete. The smell of roasting caco drifts through narrow aisles. Monte Alban sits above the valley, ancient, quiet, elevated. The kind of place where mezcal is made by hand in small palenques, where pottery techniques haven't changed in generations, where food is taken seriously, not as cuisine, but as identity. And it feels deliberate. Everything here carries weight. Chiapas and Sumidero Canyon. In Chiapas, the terrain becomes dramatic. This is Mexico's southernmost state, bordering Guatemala. The landscape here doesn't ease you in. It demands attention. Sumidero Canyon walls rise steeply from the river, over 3,000 feet in places. Sheer cliffs covered in vegetation. The water below is calm, almost reflective. Spider monkeys move through trees along the canyon rim. Crocodiles sun themselves on rocky outcrops. Nearby, San Cristobal de las Casas sits high in the mountains. At over 7,000 feet elevation, the air is thin and cool, nothing like the coastal humidity most associate with Mexico. The air is cooler. The pace slows. Streets are cobblestone. Markets spill into plazas. Indigenous communities from surrounding villages come to sell textiles and produce. The architecture is colonial, but the culture is deeply indigenous. This is one of Mexico's most layered regions, a place where Spanish colonialism and Maya tradition exist side by side, not always harmoniously, but visibly, and one of the least visited by international travelers. Most people don't make it this far south, but those who do often say it changed how they see the country. Most visitors leave Mexico thinking they've seen it, but the deeper you explore, the more it changes. Mountains where you expected beaches, silence where you expected crowds, layers of history in places you'd never heard of. If you're drawn to destinations beyond the obvious, this channel is built for that. Baja California, desert meets ocean. In Baja California, desert meets ocean. This is the long, narrow peninsula that stretches south from California, separating the Pacific from the Sea of Cortez. Mountains drop directly into the sea. The landscape feels open, almost empty. Drive Highway 1 and you'll go hours without seeing another car. The road curves along cliffs. Below, waves crash against rock formations sculpted by centuries of erosion. Cacti dot the hillsides. Carden, the world's tallest cactus species, some over 60 feet tall. Whales migrate along this coastline every year. Gray whales travel from Alaska to the warm lagoons of Biva to give birth. Between January and March, you can watch mothers and calves surface just meters from small boats. The water is so calm in these protected bays that you can hear them breathe. Small fishing villages line the coast. Bahia de los Angeles, Loreto, La Paz. These aren't resorts. They're working towns where fishing is still the main livelihood. This is Mexico without density. More horizon, more silence. The kind of place where sunset lasts longer because there's nothing blocking the view. Colonial towns, San Miguel, Guanajuato. In central Mexico, colonial towns shift the mood again. These cities were built during Spanish rule, designed around central plazas, with churches at the heart of daily life. San Miguel de Allende glows at sunset. The Parroquia de San Miguel Arcangel rises above the main square, its neo-Gothic spires catching the last light. The entire town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Streets are narrow, buildings painted in terracotta, ochre, and deep red. Guanajuato's streets twist unpredictably. They're architectural. They're walkable. You can spend days wandering and still find streets you haven't seen. Cafes tucked into courtyards. Galleries in converted colonial homes. Rooftop terraces overlooking domes and bell towers. And they feel self-contained, like worlds within a world. Food beyond tacos. Mexican cuisine changes by region. It's not a single cuisine, it's dozens, shaped by geography, climate, and history. In Oaxaca, mole sauces are complex and layered. Mole negro uses over 30 ingredients. It takes days to prepare. Chilies are toasted, ground, blended with chocolate, spices, nuts, and seeds. The result is dark, rich, and unlike anything else. In Baida, seafood is fresh and direct. Food here isn't uniform. It's regional and deeply local. What you eat in Yucatan, cochinita pibil, panichos, won't taste the same anywhere else. Why travelers are exploring beyond resorts. Mexico has always been popular. It's one of the most visited countries in the world, but something is shifting. But travelers are moving beyond resort zones. Remote work made longer stays possible. Digital nomads discovered that Oaxaca, Mérida, and Playa del Carmen offered strong internet, affordable living, and real communities. Better infrastructure connects smaller cities. Beach, mountain, colonial, desert. A week in Oaxaca, then Chiapas. A few days in Baida, then north to colonial towns. The country is large enough to offer contrast without needing to fly internationally. The contrast is part of the appeal. People want variety. They want to feel like they're discovering something, not just repeating what everyone else did. Who this side of Mexico is for. This side of Mexico is for travelers who want contrast. Not just one type of landscape, but several. Not just one experience, but many. For people willing to go beyond the coastline, who don't mind taking a bus, who can handle a few bumpy roads, who prefer immersion over insulation, for those who prefer depth over convenience, who want to understand a place, not just photograph it, who value authenticity more than comfort. Though Mexico offers both if you know where to look. If you want beaches, they're here. Some of the best in the world. If you want culture, it's here too. Alive, layered, and waiting. Mexico isn't just Cancun. It's mountains, canyons, deserts, colonial cities, and traditions that stretch back centuries. It's a country where every region feels distinct, where history is visible in the architecture, the food, the languages still spoken. And once you move beyond the obvious stops, you realize how much more there is. How much depth, how much variation, how many layers still waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe for more journeys beyond the tourist version. What part of Mexico would you explore first?